Hi there, John Moore here, and I am a spiritual teacher and shamanic healer from the state of Maine, and I want to talk to you about the energy body. What is the energy body, and why do we care? You may know we have one. So I'm going to begin this with maybe a little metaphor. Um, this is an onion. It's very useful, one useful model to think about people as onions. And that is, there's layer upon layer upon layer to what we consider the human self. Now, the energy body exists in all living things, and all living things have an energy body. But let's talk about that. So, in this model, we have many bodies. We have a physical body. We know that, right? You can, you know, get information through your senses. You can touch things. You can feel things. We have to eat, breathe, and drink water and keep ourselves within a certain temperature range to keep this body going, this energy body going. Phoebe agrees. That's Phoebe the shaman cat. She likes to make appearances in all of my videos. Um, so back to the energy body. Uh, the energy body, so we can think of these bodies as being more dense to more subtle. Okay, the densest body we have, the least subtle body we have, is the physical body. Okay, this, we can touch it. It's got mass, it's got weight, it's got um we can't, in normal situations, we can't pass our body, we can't pass solid objects through other solid objects under normal circumstances. Two solid things can't occupy the same space under normal circumstances. However, we know from the subatomic world that this body, this physical body, is just energy, right? It's just vibrating energy. And 99.9, with seven nines behind the point, percent of this is empty space. So what you see as a human figure when you look at me is, and hopefully you see a human figure when you look at me, is predominantly empty space, right? But we perceive this as solid. So this body is a form of energy that is not very subtle. It's like energy kind of frozen. One step more subtle than the physical body is the energy body. And if you have, anything about auras or chakras or the meridians in traditional Chinese medicine or any of those things, you know a little bit about the energy body. The energy body is an incredibly complex body that doesn't have mass or weight because it is subtle to the point where it is not physical. The energy exists, we could say, on another plane or another vibratory state. However, the energy body, because it is so close in layer, it's like the next layer over from our physical body. Because it's so close, it interacts very strongly with our physical body. This is why things like acupuncture, Reiki, energy healing can work to help the physical body heal itself. There's an interchange, and this is an important concept when thinking about the energy body. The energy body is an interface, or provides a number of interfaces between the physical body and the spirit world, but also other energy bodies and that sort of thing, right? So there's in traditional Chinese medicine and Taoist thought and things like that, but also not just exclusively there. There are other systems that talk about the energy of the breath and the energy we draw from the sun and the energy, and modern science knows that, when we go out in the sunlight, when we get sunlight on our skin, that's converted to vitamin D, which is important to our health. The light rays coming into our eyes affect our sleep cycles. We know that we get, we need to breathe. We need to have both oxygen and carbon dioxide in our system. It's important to the energy uh, in the blood, right? So we need both oxygen and carbon dioxide to have the hemoglobin pull in oxygen and then release that to our body. So there's interchange, there's chemical interchange, there's energy interchange. These are where this happens are called interfaces, where one thing interfaces with another. With you can think of this like if you have internet in your home, you probably have some sort of device like a router that in your home, right? And the router isn't the internet, but the router allows you to connect to the internet. So the energy body allows you to connect connect between the physical body, we have an emotional and mental body, we have a spirit body. So it allows a lot of connection there. Now, the energy body is strongly tied to your physical body, right? And when we see someone's aura, generally speaking, from a few feet to even 40 feet and even beyond that, we're seeing a very subtle layer of the energy body. If you are one who can see auras, if you have clairvoyant abilities, or you train yourself to see auras, and you can train yourself to see aura. What you're seeing is an outer layer of the energy body, or otherwise known as the etheric field. The energy body is also known as the etheric body. Those terms are generally interchangeable. So we see this subtle sort of amorphous shape outside of the human body. That is the etheric field, or the aura. As we move in, there's a layer, if you're able to see this, that closely follows the shape of the human body and is anywhere from 1/2 inch to 2 inches outside and around the human body, and moves with the human body. So as I move my hand, this part of my energy anatomy moves with it. It's very closely tied to this part of my body. Now, this is sometimes known as the etheric double, or it's just another less subtle layer of the energy body. And again, the energy body is very complex. It is at least, if not more complex than the physical body. And you can imagine, like, if you've ever taken an anatomy class or a biology class, you know how complex the physical body is. We have all of these systems. We have cellular respiration and mitosis, and we've got a respiratory system and a circulatory system and a skeletal system and muscles and fascia. And we don't know everything about the human body yet. As much as we've learned with modern science, there are mysteries yet to be unveiled about the human body. And we know less about the energy body, but a fair amount. Enough to work with it. Just like modern medicine knows enough to work with the physical body to some extent. We haven't cured all disease yet or anything like that, but we know how to work with the human body pretty well. Better than we did. And we're always learning. So it's the same thing with the energy body. So at the level of the etheric double, you've probably heard of chakras if you've done any sort of spiritual, and these are vortexes of energy. They are, the word chakra, Sanskrit, means wheel. It's like a spinning wheel, and we often think of them, because of the charts we look at, as running down the front of the body, but they're actually attached to an energy organ called the Shushumna, which correlates to the spine, but it's actually a little bit mostly in front of the spine. But it runs from your tail, from your perineum, to the crown of your head. So it is bigger than the spine lengthwise, and kind of runs along the front of it. And the chakras you can think of them as like funnels that open outward, and they open towards the front. There's one funnel in the front, there's one funnel in the back. And we know in most systems they study, there are 7 major chakras. That being said, there are many, 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 an uncountable probably number of chakras, but most of them are smaller. You have chakras in your fingertips, in the palms of your hands. Every acupuncture point is a little chakra, right? So we've mapped out, I don't know, hundreds of these in the human body. or as correlates to the human body. And these are part of the etheric field or the energy body. These, you could think of them as like organs. So the chakras' major functions are to store, transmit, store, transmute energy from one frequency to another. And people will talk about chakra healing because if your chakras are not working correctly, just like your organs in your body aren't working correctly, it can cause problems. There are health issues because this is your energy body strongly interacts with your physical body, right? And we can frequently affect healing in the body through action of the energy body. Now there are many subtler layers of the human onion. For example, we have a soul body that's more subtle than the energy body, and it's not as closely tied to the energy body. The soul body is also known as the astral body in some languages, and that can be shaped and formed by our thought. It's very strongly affected by mental action. It can separate from the body and travel, and this is where remote viewing, astral projection, shamanic journeying, and it can even travel into other dimensions. You can tune the soul body to other dimensions, but the energy body stays in place because when the energy body leaves, when it dissipates, when it dissolves, that you're dead. You're essentially dead at that point. So when you die, you go through this process of transformation where the energy body kind of dissipates or is released into the environment. This is where we get certain types of hauntings, and the soul body leaves and goes to where it's going and potentially reincarnated into a body that has a new energy body. So we don't carry our energy body over between lifetimes. There are parts of us that we carry over when we're reincarnated, but the energy body is the one like the physical body. Again, it's very similar to the physical body. When the physical body breaks down, dies and breaks down, so does the energy body. And what happens? Well, we know that there is a law of conservation of energy, that energy is never created or destroyed, right? It's just transformed from one state to another. So if I burn a piece of paper, the energy in that paper doesn't disappear, it's transformed. It's transformed into heat, light, smoke, ash. It becomes something different. And so the same is true with our energy body. Our energy body, when it dissipates, the energy goes into the world, you know, into the atmosphere, into the energetic atmosphere, or it goes into the earth, or it goes into, the objects around us, but it dissipates. And so it is important. The energy body is incredibly important because it it has a number of functions, and these are important to know. One is that the energy body um, is in part responsible for our health. This is why things like acupuncture can work, and things like Reiki and other forms of energetic spiritual healing work really well when they work on the level of the energy body for physical issues. So, for example, I do shamanic healing, and one of these things that we do is called extraction, where we're pulling unwanted energy out of somebody's energy field. And I have had clients have pretty significant relief from very physical issues like a frozen shoulder and that sort of thing from removing stuck energy. So stuff can get stuck in your energy body. So our energy body needs to be resilient and have an immune system similar to our physical body. We need to be able to recognize what's coming in and what's going out from our energy body. If we expend too much of our energy without replenishing it, if we don't do energy body work and replenish it, then we can be depleted, we can get sick, right? Our energy body might borrow physical energy to keep itself going. But the same thing, when I get physically run down, I'm more prone to get sick, right? Spiritually, the energy body is important to your spiritual development. And this is why we work on this. We work because it is an interface, right, between our physical selves, our mental selves, our emotional selves, and other parts of ourselves, our soul body, our spirit, our higher selves, all of these things. Our crown chakra opens to amazing planes of consciousness. And so, work on our energy body, transformation of our energy body is a really critical tool in any sort of spiritual development. You can't ignore parts of yourself, important parts of yourself, right? So, if I'm doing spiritual work, and yes, I know there are monks who go sit in a cave and eat a grain of rice a day for 10 years and all of those things. And that is one path. But if I'm living in this world and I have a job and a family and a house and all of these things, I still have to take care of my physical body. I have to meet the needs of my physical body and not solely focus on spirituality, um, even though that would be wonderful. But I need to take care of this body. And this is where things like yoga and Qigong and Tai Chi and other energy body work are really beautiful because they take care of the body, they take care of the energy systems of the body, but also the interface between the energy body and the systems of the body. Um, so but we also the energy body is also partially responsible for what we attract into our lives. So if we're constantly, I'm sure you've felt a vibe from people before, whether or not you've done energy body work. You've been in a room where somebody comes in and they just kind of suck the energy out of the room, or somebody comes into the room and the room lights up, right? Somebody with incredible charisma. Yes, charisma is in part how you look, how you act, but it's also what you're projecting through your energy body. And people are feeling that on a very subtle, unconscious level. It is affecting people emotionally. People will feel more happy around you, or they will feel more relaxed around you, or that sort of thing. I like to think that I have a calming I have a calming presence, um, something I cultivate. So when I work with clients, there is less anxiety, there's less stress. People can relax into who they are and express themselves freely. So this is something that can be worked on and tuned through the energy body. And then the energy body can also be transformed through spiritual alchemical processes to attract things like more spiritual wisdom into your life, or to become a channel. Okay. And in shamanism, we talk very often about becoming the hollow bone. And what becoming the hollow bone means, if you think about a bone that's hollow, it's like a straw that you drink out of, or a tube that you breathe through if you're snorkeling or something, right? It's an unobstructed channel for spirit to work through. And so there are a lot of things that go into that becoming a hollow bone. Doing shadow work is a big one, right? Pulling up our unconscious material, confronting it, and integrating it. Um, but all of that exists on all planes, right? All of that work exists on all planes. So it exists on that work exists on the physical plane where I become a clear physical channel. If I don't take care of my body, let's say I didn't take care of my hygiene and I tried to work with a client, they might be offended by how I look or how I smell, or, that sort of thing. Or I might get sick, because my body has been invaded by disease. So I need to take care of that. The energy body is the same way. I need to take care of that. I need it to become clear, unobstructed, so that I can channel spirit and do the work that I'm doing through my energy body, through my soul body, all of these things. I need to do my work. I need to do my healing. I need to take care of my energy body. If you're an energy healer of any sort, critical, if you're working with any kind of clients, I think it's critical for everybody, but it becomes even more so for anybody who's doing energy healing, energy body work on other people, right? You have to clear that, you have to clear your own energy blockages, your own, you don't want to pass anything on or be obstructed in the way that you're working with people. We talk just briefly about the law of attraction. When you want to attract things into your life consciously, part of that is getting into alignment. That means body, mind, spirit. Spiritually, we're talking about the energy body, the soul body, have everything moving in the same direction. And that's a real key to manifesting what you want in your life and living a more abundant, happy, healthy life full of love, full of support. So, anyway, I'm going to wrap for now. That's a primer on the energy body. Thank you for joining me, and I will talk to you very soon.